What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going to fix the Carolina Panthers, who sit here at 1-10, no first-round pick in the upcoming draft. Every time they lose, a Chicago Bear fan gains a smile. Right? They just fired Frank Reich on top of, Rule. Just a lot of... It's one of those, that's not how a good team is ran. Having that much turnover at the coach spot. Having that much money, the guys that are now just sitting on the couch. But also, with Rule, with Reich, you're kind of being like, this isn't going anywhere. How is this going to look better? How is this going to solve itself? And I really feel like it's tough. Carolina is probably the worst situation in the NFL for a coach to go to. Which means what perfect opportunity to come in and rebuild. We did a rebuild of the Carolina Panthers previously. That was at the very beginning of the year. That was when they had all the optimism in the world. That was when, all right, Frank Reich finally got a young quarterback, got the guy that he wanted. They traded up to get the guy they wanted out of all the quarterbacks, and they got Bryce Young. And I'm not out on Bryce Young yet. I think offensively, in terms of play calling, in terms of talent around him, if you're trying to compare him, he's now always going to be forever compared with C.J. Stroud, who's absolutely crushing it in Houston this year. You know, the argument would be, what they switch spots? What if you put Bryce Young in Houston, and what if you put C.J. Stroud in Carolina, right? You know, who would be further ahead? And maybe that's a video for another day. Because honestly, that seems like that could be kind of a fun video within the context of the sim and all that stuff. But for today, it's all about Carolina. Because I do think if you switch the spots, we would be having a different narrative around Bryce Young. I'm not going to discredit how ridiculous C.J. Stroud has been playing. Like, I think he's absolutely top 5 in the MVP race right now, let alone, obviously, front runner, running away with the Offensive Rookie of the Year nod. But I do think that if you switch it, Bryce Young doesn't look this bad. Doesn't look, offensive lines are kind of the same, but you can't. I just feel like play calling. You got Slowick or whoever from another one of those guys from that Niners offensive coaching tree, just absolutely helping that offense there in Houston. Great play caller. You're seeing the emergence. Tank Dell. Give me Tank Dell and Nico Collins over Mingo and Adam Thielen, with all due respect. And we're going to have to try to figure out a way to make Jonathan Mingo a legitimate receiving threat for us in this rebuild. And Adam Thielen has been crushing it this year. That is very valid to say. But they haven't got much out of Miles Sanders, who they paid big money in free agency. And honestly, I think Chuba Hubbard, maybe Canadian bias, non-Canadian bias, is the most talented running back in that backfield. I think a massive issue right now with the Carolina Panthers is Ike Ekwonu does not look great at left tackle. I think a lot, depending on actually how this free agency goes, I might actually kick Ike Ekwonu inside the guard, because that is where some people unfortunately projected him. And I say unfortunately just because you want that first round pick to hit at tackle. But there's a shot, like someone like Ike Ekwonu, you kick him in the guard, kind of in the mold of like a Quentin Nelson kind of player, where it's like big mauler, put him on the inside. That's where his best position is going to be. That's where you get your superstar offensive lineman. So that'll be something like, if there's a tackle that becomes available, we might explore that and kick Ike Ekwonu on the inside and get a better guard. But you look at the offense, like, we need help on the O-line. We need help at tight end. We need help at receiver. Like, they need that X factor, man. This is a team that has not had any identity since they got rid of Christian McCaffrey. Because at least before, they were like, well, we'll give the ball to Christian McCaffrey, and that should be good enough, right? As long as everyone else does an okay job, Christian McCaffrey can carry this team to wins. We don't have that. We do not have that. We don't have that at running back. We don't have that at wide receiver. We don't have that at tight end. And you need some help for Bryce Young. So that is going to be a big change. Second change, because now this is my team. I'm now coming in to fix it. We are not doing this 3-4 nonsense. We're going to go back to a base 4-3 so that we can actually utilize Brian Burns here. And if we can't, we're going to have to fire sale. I think Brian Burns might need to be a fire sale guy if we can't kind of figure this out. I would like to roll into next year, like my first true year of trying to rebuild this team with Brian Burns still on the roster. But there also needs to be an understanding here to get the offense, to get the key players on offense, get your offense going. This is an offensive league. We might have to give up some defensive assets And none more so, more desirable than Brian Burns. And if Brian Burns doesn't sim well, he's a guy that has not ever really simmed well in Madden 24. I think some of that is due to the scheme, rocking a 3-4. But if I go back to a 4-3, we sim next year, Brian Burns gets 6 sacks, 7 sacks. We might still just have to capitalize on his base rating and utilize that to get maybe multiple first round. Because I absolutely could still get a first round pick for Brian Burns. We put Derek Brown back at defensive tackle. He's having a solid year. We got Grossman, but I mean, you still need to really figure out the right-hand side of this defensive line. Linebacking core, Shaq Thompson's solid, but he's getting up there in age a little bit. Luvu, really underrated linebacker in terms of production, kind of like a mini Darius Leonard. We got Von Bell, Xavier Woods at safety. I do like the corners. Horn Dog. We got Jeremy Chin, who's kind of on the outs right now. It feels like right at the trade deadline. There, everyone's getting ready to ship him off and yada, yada, yada. Very good football player. We're absolutely going to be retaining Jeremy Chin. He's going to be a valuable player for this defense. We're starting him right now at slot corner, but obviously he has safety. He has sub linebacker in his wheelhouse. We do need to find out what his best position is going to be for this rebuild, but he's going to be a part of this team. And you got Jackson there as well. So I think the secondary is not that much of a concern. I think it's pass rush. I think it's offensive line. But without a shadow of a doubt, regardless if it ends up being a baller tight end, a baller running back, or someone at wide receiver, we need to get a game changer on the offensive side of the ball. That is what we're going to try to do. Oh, yeah, we just don't have a first-round pick to do so. So that's freaking great. So we don't have a first-round pick, and we also don't have a crazy amount of salary cap space. We got to pay Brian Burns. I would love to get him for locked in right now for the remainder of the rebuild for $69 million. He needs a little bit more money, which we don't have crazy amount of money. Jeremy Chin, want him to be a part of this rebuild, so we're going to give him a 5-year deal. He's happy with the change of front office. Now, here's where it's just like, my God. You're not an edge rusher. You're asking for edge rusher money. I know what I got to do. I know what we have to do. It's disgusting that it comes to this. Literally, I moved inside the middle linebacker, and his contract goes from $76 million to a realistic $30 million. I highly, 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 highly recommend, if you want your rebuilds to be realistic, move your 4-3 outside linebackers inside the middle linebacker to re-sign them. Because Madden just, I don't want to say it's no fault of their own, because come on, right? Just let's get edge rusher terminology, let's get outside linebacker terminology correct. But come on, right? Just come on. I don't want to pay a guy that doesn't get pass rush, that gets 15 sacks, and pay him like a guy that gets 15 sacks. It's stupid. Very, very stupid. Always do that. Not gonna brag. First game in the saddle, we get the victory. Now, the one thing I'm not going to drastically rush to hit the panic button is the offense itself, because the offense itself is not that bad in Madden 24. We literally just watched in our Cardinals franchise Bryce Young not only spank us, but throw for 40 touchdowns in this Carolina offense. So I feel like the Frank Reich offense, in the eyes of Madden at least, is a sustainable offense. Defense needs a little bit of work. But I do think for the big picture here of our project, Brian Burns either being a dominant edge rusher or being a huge trade piece, we got to lock him into a new contract. And a reasonable contract that doesn't make him ridiculous to move on from if we do have to trade him for the benefit of the team long term. Okay, we're just 2-0. I'm glad the team is responding. And we also have 2 pretty nice boosts that we hit. Back-to-back games without allowing a sack. I like to just interpret that the change here might be able to keep Ike Ekwonu at left tackle, which would be huge for the team because that's your blind side. It's the second most important position. You can make the argument after a franchise quarterback. So we get a nice 10,000 XP for everybody on the offensive line. Oh, and we also got spoiler, which is one of the best scenarios when your team is absolutely sucking and tanking. It's basically get a win at some point and have most of your good players get gigantic XP boosts. Holy shit, yeah, playing spoiler indeed. 4 skill points for Bryce Young. Okay, I will take that. I will absolutely look at all these boosts and get some throw power. Can we get at least 1 throw power roll, please? One area that's lacking. There we go. One throw power. Can we get another? And look, he's close to being 79. He'll hit at least 79 by the end of this season. And what are we looking for? We're still chasing that 90 throw power. We'll get there. We'll get there. We close out year one, 6-11. Won a couple games. Beat the Bucks week 18 to not finish bottom dwellers in the NFC South. And because we don't own our first round pick, and the team that owns our first round pick is in the same conference as us, we're probably going to have to go up against them at some point. Happy that we're not giving the Chicago Bears like 2 top 3 picks, 2 top 5 picks. Yes, we might have to wait a little bit longer in the second round, but I'm glad that we saw progress after moving on from Frank Reich. We can turn this around. Now, it's annoying. Got to show this just to add a little bit of fuel to the fire. It is annoying when you look at the league leaders, you see C.J. Stroud up there, and Bryce Young's nowhere near. Everyone's talking about that other rookie quarterback, but we're working on it. Bryce Young, 3,300 yards, 23 touchdowns, 15 picks. Not good. Not good, but this is the expectation. This is going to be the worst he's going to be. And for the next 4 years, he's going to be playing like one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL. Chuba Hubbard was our RB1. He was solid, little bit better than Miles Sanders. And I think while Miles Sanders hopefully keeps that dev trait, it might be a little bit of a dead salary cap. But let's see if we can move him some point this offseason, get some added value. Maybe, package Miles Sanders in a third-round pick to move up in the second round. Just something like that. Anything that we can at our disposal to take advantage and make this roster as good as we can, as quickly as we can, we need to try to do so. Adam Thielen, great season, 105 catches, 1,100 yards, 7 tutties, 6-2 there from Mingo, but you just see the drastic drop-off. And Adam Thielen can't be your wide receiver 1. He could be a safety net slot wide receiver. You could have Mingo be a nice wide receiver 2, but we need to get that X factor. We need to get that X wide receiver 1 that is going to be elevated. Could that be available in free agency? Maybe, but do we even have the money to support? We don't have a whole lot. We are not going to be able to sign 2, 3, 4 really, really good players. We might be able to get 1, maybe 2. Defensively, Frankie Louvu, hell of a year. 111 tackles, 10 TFLs, 5 sacks, 8.5 sacks on 18 TFLs for Brian Burns. Moving back down to defensive end, I think that's going to be what is best for his career. A little bit low on the numbers there for Derek Brown, given his talent level. We'll see how he handles that move back to defensive tackle. Jeremy Chin lead the teams with 2 interceptions, and that is not acceptable. Okay, I tell you right now, remembering back to our beloved Panthers franchise last year, this secondary needs to force turnovers. We got to be ball hawks. We got to get interceptions. That is something that I also want to try to bring to this squad. Looking at the yearly awards, MVP goes to Jalen Hurts, and right there at number 7, C.J. Stroud. Okay, offensive player of the year, Jalen Hurts. Defensive, Aaron Donald. Offensive rookie of the year goes to Bijan Robinson. That's brutal. Imagine just a scenario where, this isn't Bryce Young. We're multiple years into a rebuild. We just got a random quarterback rookie, and he comes 6. We would be very pissed off if this was just a different context rebuild. As Mingo also makes the top 10 there. You got to work that out for us. For the rest of the individual awards, I don't think we're going to have anybody winning any awards. It just kind of is what it is. Shout out Jalen Hurts. I fired the OC to see if we can get one that has quarterback guru. Give as much boost as we possibly can. And I'd like to welcome Jeremy Green, who also has the Frank Reich playbook there. That's a perfect landing spot for us. As far as dev traits are concerned, Bryce Young kept his superstar, which you can't ask for any better role given the context of this season. Mingo, star dev, no dev traits up. I don't really expect anybody to go up dev trait. We got a good role there. Brian Burns is up to X Factor. How? I don't know how. I was going to say, did he sneak into the Pro Bowl somehow? That sometimes can get you in. But absolute dub for Brian Burns becoming an X Factor, not only for us next season, but if he's struggling next year, that is going to only help his trade value. And we got Frankie Louvu, who we re-signed to an appropriate, realistic contract, going from normal up to a star, which is great. We'll take that. That's good roll so far. So good to start this offseason. So we had about $40 million in free agency, and with the updated free agency, you actually get some exciting, fresh names that we could potentially target. We're gonna go a little bit big here. One is we need another pass rusher. He'd kick down to defensive end to put on the other side of Brian Burns. And with only a second round pick, it's gonna be tough to find a pass rusher in the second round. So we're gonna look at Josh Uche here. 25-75 with a dev trait. Chance that he can develop nicely for us. Worst case scenario, I'm not out an arm and a leg if it doesn't work out. And then we had really two opportunities to get a wide receiver here, Gabe Davis and Hollywood Brown. I feel stylistically Hollywood Brown might fit the role, but Gabe Davis is a guy that's, not quite, definitely not T. Higgins level. But in terms of like wide receiver twos around the league, while there is some consistency issues with Gabe Davis, there's a guy like, can he be a wide receiver one? Maybe that's the thing. Maybe like he's a guy like when you look at Buffalo and with Stephon Diggs, maybe it's fair to say demanding so many targets, so much of the offense. Maybe like that is a victim of why Gabe Davis is so hot and cold. Big play Gabe. We're going to give him an opportunity here. Potentially come as wide receiver one. There's a big bid there from the Lions. If I was him, I'd probably pick the Lions. But to be a part of something special here in Carolina could be pretty cool. So let's see what happens here. First run. Oh, the Lions have surpassed us. This is what he's looking for. We'll go up 7.5. I don't know if that's good. I don't even think that's a better offer than what we originally sent, but maybe it is. Come on! Where'd he go? Out of nowhere goes to Arizona. All right, well, that's what we're looking in the second round. Wide receiver. We need, hopefully, someone's there. I'm just going to tell you right now as I'm doing my scouting. So we don't have a first-round pick. Really want to target wide receiver, I think, after missing out on Gabe Davis. And there is currently a second-round wide receiver, Antonio Reddick, 6'9". Welcome to the Carolina Panthers. For the 7th pick of the second round, we are going to add what I can only imagine is going to be an absolute cheat code at wide receiver, Antonio Reddick out of Iowa. 6'9", 90 acceleration, 91 agility, 94 jumping, 91 speed, hidden dev wide receiver. Good God. In the third round, I'd hate to use this I don't want to say it's a cheesy pick, but we know that these types are usually pretty good. We got Ron Harvin here on the other D tackle, put alongside Derek Brown, 6'4", 350 pounds, A tackle, C power, C finesse, elite strength with 43 reps. Ron Harvin, welcome to Carolina. In the fourth round, really the last target, I want to get something on the offensive line. Had a couple guards that looked solid that went out the board fairly quickly. But we do have a couple centers. And the one that is the most intriguing is Brian Burr, hopefully related to Bill Burr. But anytime you get a clear-cut A, I am worried about the run blocking. But an A pass blocking is probably going to be pretty good. Also has elite change of direction, top 5, 40, 3-cone, 20-yard shuttle, best bench press. I'm chasing the A. Please hidden dev. Oh, no hidden dev. Damn. So now take a look at our draft recap. I don't think too bad. I mean, the fact we got a freaking 6'9" wide receiver feels pretty good. Antonio Reddick, 74 hidden dev. Absolutely going to probably be our wide receiver one on the outside. Then we're probably going to go Reddick, Mingo on the outside with Thielen in the slot. We got Harvin, which, again, you can never really gloat too much when the clear, cheesy nose tackles are there. But when you need a defensive tackle, I'm not going to make it any harder on myself than it needs to be with no first-round pick. A little bit bummed that there's no depth trade for Brian Burr there, but 74 normal. That's a great starting point for a rookie. And again, I definitely would stress, anytime you're looking for linemen, blind scouting linemen, if you get like A impact blocking, A awareness, But if you roll, a little bit, maybe the reason why he has like an F is maybe that's why we don't get a dev trade on him. But if you can get a guy that has A pass block or A run block, feel pretty confident that like that guy's going to be at least a 70 plus. Last couple picks, not the best, not the worst, but all in all, for not having a first round draft pick, very, very happy with this. And midway through year 2, 3, and 6, which I want to be a little bit better, but it's year 2 of a lot of work to do, and it just wouldn't be realistic to have that quick of a turnaround with how much work needs to be done with the Carolina Panthers. I will say, as I just spent an XP upgrade, I don't want to say surprise, but I think anytime you find a hidden dev 6'9" wide receiver, like, oh, that's going to be an X factor. Just a star. So, I don't know. Let's make sure he wins Offensive Rookie of the Year and get a chance to maybe propel that up to a superstar. I don't know if we got the hidden dev on the D tackle, which we did. Harvin, also a star dev, so no X factors, no superstars, nothing crazy like that. But anytime you have a 6'9" wide receiver, always intrigued. A little Dion Clement build for our pink slip fans out there. But with $93 million of available salary cap at this point in the season, okay, let's do a little bit of work here. Chuba Hubbard, interested, but I want to see where he's at the end of the year. Does he go over 1,000 yards? Does he look like a guy that can develop into a role? Is he going to roll a star def and get off that normal? Shaq Thompson's been crushing it, even at his age. I'd feel a lot more comfortable on a 2-year deal. Just gives us a little bit more time to find his replacement. Austin Corbett at guard. Well, dev trait linemen don't really grow on trees, so we'll see if we can lock him in until he's 31. We have Derek Brown at defensive tackle. Really can't let him go. About $100 million is a lot for not ridiculous production. And then we got Dante Jackson. I think we get him till he's 30. Still a very nice contributor to the back end of the defense. So pretty much, withstanding a potential extension for Chuba Hubbard, we're going to have a lot of money to do some damage this offseason. All right, I think we manifested something here because week 12, we crushed the Bucs 45-7. At least we're not as bad as them. I'm going to assume Chuba Hubbard got player of the week. Well, it was Brian, and we've had multiple players. Shout out Brian Burns, 3 sacks. Shaq Thompson has got defensive player of the week like 3 times, which is absolutely insane. Look, he got it in week 4 with 20 tackles. We got Von Bell in week 3. Week 1, Shaq Thompson. Like, our defense has been stuffing the box score. I don't necessarily know if we're running a particular elite unit, but we are somehow, some way, a top 10 offense, top 10 defense, with an opportunity for Chuba Hubbard, who's waiting for a contract extension. I'll tell you right now, if he gets star dev, I will use all of my Canadian bias and what we saw Chuba Hubbard do last year in our main channel, Panthers franchise, and I will give him a contract extension. And it's a big matchup here against the division-leading 7-4 Atlanta Falcons. We got a little bit of momentum. I think we've won 2 in a row. Make it 3 in a row. Let's go. 24-21. We need 100 yards for Chuba Hubbard. God damn it. Come on. Well, the turnaround has come around a little bit. As we don't win the division. It's not a crazy record, but we finished. Midway point. Record wasn't great, but we had a top 10 offense, top 10 defense. Which anything could happen. We ended up winning a lot. Now, we played a lot of bad teams in Week 18. I was like, all right, there we go, Bengals. This is going to be a good idea, good measuring stick of where this team's at. And we lose, but it's a close one. It's a respectable loss. We finished the year 10-7 with the 6th-ranked offense in terms of points. Even though we're going to ignore the fact that it's straight up 30th, this one says 6 in points per game, and that's all that really matters, right? But we did finish with a very legitimate elite defensive unit with number 1 in terms of sacks, which is what everybody, including your mother, wants to see, right? They want to see that. So take a look at our squad. Bryce Young, respectable season. 3,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, 8 picks. If that's going to now be the floor of him performing throughout this rebuild, we're going to be in good hands. Run the football. Chuba Hubbard, 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. Miles Sanders kept his trade value pretty high for this offseason because he's going to be gone. Even if I only get like a 3rd or 4th round pick, he's going to be gone. Even then, that might be slightly finessing whoever gets him. Mingo, 8-8, 7-9 for Thielen, almost 7-4 for Antonio Reddick, which, the fact that I outright made him wide receiver 1, and that is his numbers. And also, it's not even a common trope would be whoever your slot wide receiver is has your big time receiving numbers. That was Thielen, and even then, not anything too crazy. So definitely need to maybe refine the passing offense here. Maybe we need to explore outside the Frank Reich system. I don't know, but we made the playoffs. We'll keep building on. Shaq Thompson, lots of tackles. Happy that we re-signed him. 14 sacks for Brian Burns, 12 from Derek Brown. I was a little sus about giving Derek Brown a $100 million contract. Oh, shit, he earned it. And look at that, a 350-yard nose tackle with 9 sacks. Awesome. Interceptions back up where they need to be. 4 picks for the Horn Dog. 3 for Shaq Thompson, 3 for Luvu, 3 for Dante Jackson, who got himself a new 2-year contract. 2 for Woods, 2 for Chin. Love seeing all those numbers. Taking a look at the yearly awards here. MVP goes to Dak Prescott. In the NFC, offense, let's just look for Panthers here, man. Do we have anybody that we can feel kind of good about? We have Derek Brown, Brian Burns, and Shaq Thompson all making Defensive Player of the Year shortlist. Riddick was runner-up somehow with a disappointing season. That's frustrating, knowing that That is probably the difference between a dev trade becoming a superstar 6'9" wide receiver, but also didn't really have that great of a year. Kind of like an average to fine rookie season as a receiver. So it's not like we can be too butthurt about him not winning the award. Defensively, Harvin, he should have been hired. 9 sacks for a nose tackle. I can always make the argument. I don't even need to know what these guys did to assume Harvin needs to be better than 5th. Looking at the rest of the awards, Bryce Young makes the top 5 quarterbacks, which you love to see. Shout out Brian Burr and Corbett. Shout out Burns and Brown making the D lineman of the year, linebacker of the year. Well, that's just always going to be a little bit tough. But Shaq Thompson, tackle machine, getting there. Horn Dog at top 3 for defensive backs. So a lot more individual success, and luckily that transitioned and translated into team success as we have a chance here to, well, Detroit's probably going to beat us, but we made the playoffs. We have an opportunity to get a potential first playoff victory for the Bryce Young era, and unfortunately, we lose a close one, 17-10. Just don't show me Bryce Young having like 3 picks, no touchdowns, 3 picks, or something really brutal like that. And hey, it was a clean game. Just didn't make enough plays. Really low scoring. And what's the difference here? Did they just get a little bit more on the defense? Nope. Gross Matos against us. Gets a sack. Just one of those games, man. They just, I don't know, they're a little bit better. As we close out the season, in terms of dev traits, it would have been, I think Chubas probably was on the line to go up to a star dev. Damn, man, I don't know what we're going to do at running back because he needs a contract. I don't know. It's unlikely that we'll give it to him. On the defensive side, Shaq Thompson makes the jump from star up to a superstar. No other dev traits. And I think, honestly, Derek Brown needs to be looking at superstar here. Then we got robbed a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. Good news is we get Andy Alton's stupid contract off the books. That helps. And Adam Thielen didn't retire. So we still have a nice role player for another season on the offensive side of the ball to be that safety net for Bryce Young. I guess I did say 1,000 yards, and he did hit it for Chuba. I also don't want to pay him that much, though. Let's go 3 years, 22 mil. All right, there's my little Canadian bias shining through here. Over free agency, here's kind of my thinking here. We have Jeremy Chin as our slot corner, but we now have a very big void at free safety. So I'm going to move Jeremy Chin back to free safety. I'm going to look to poach Kader Kohu from the Miami Dolphins to come be our new slot corner, 2677 with a dev trade. And then I want to get a big get here to shore up the offensive line. Wyatt Teller can come in and be a massive get for the O-line there. Only 30, has the superstar dev. Usually linemen don't lose devs till they're like 33, 34 years old. Should be good for the rest of the rebuild. We're being smart with our money. We're getting good players, but we're not necessarily overpaying to the point that, say, next year we get a ridiculous role. Tyreek Hill, something, one of those S-year Micah Parsons or something like that's available. We're still going to be able to stay in that market. All right, so looking at the draft preview here, because I think we might need to move up. My cutoff point, there's really... Chuck Williams looks good. Harrison looks good. But those guys there are both going top 10, and I don't want to trade a ton. I think we're picking at 20. But we do have Geo Hawkins here at 6'4", 215, A3Bs. He's going projected to go 2 picks ahead of us right now. Look at that. 4'3'9", 41-inch vert. Wish the 3-cone could be a little bit better, but the 20-yard shuttle is not bad. This guy's a baller. And I think you get this guy because Adam Thielen's in his last year. You go Hawkins. You go 6'9". You go Mingo. Like, is that a young core we can grow and develop and build around? I also need tight end. However, not a particularly strong tight end class. Kind of just is what it is. Might just have to blind pick a little bit later. But if not, I think we also found a really, really good safety. Xavier Woods not getting any younger. We did just move Jeremy Chin, so this would be looking at a strong state. 6'2", 213 out of Florida State, so we can't trade up. I think this guy would be an absolute baller. Top 5 in the 40-yard dash, first in 3-cone, third in 20-yard shuttle. He's going to be very, very good. So it's kind of like, do we be aggressive and trade up for a wide receiver, or do we stay put and likely just draft the safety? Honestly, I'm going to see if I can trade my first-round pick and Miles Sanders. We got to move up, I think, 2 spots, maybe 3 spots. What was the final mock here? If we want to get Hawkins, we are going to have to move up 2 spots. Will the Raiders take that? I don't know, but I'll try. All right, we're actually able to make a trade. We said, luckily enough, Miles Sanders still has a star dev, so you bring that in there. The appeal of a change of pace behind Josh Jacobs. And we're able to just, I get Ja'Cory Bennett, Murray Burney, and the first-round pick. Honestly, I only take those two because of the salary cap implications. But we are able to do business with the Raiders. Great organization. Always rated them so that we can come up and complete our offense by selecting what looks to be a very good wide receiver. Now, I wouldn't be lying if I would be hoping that I could sit here and say that this guy we scout is a top 5 talent and, you know, everyone else is sleeping on him. But that is very good. Better, looks better out the box than our 6'9" wide receiver. So, Geo Hawkins, welcome to help make our offense not terrible. Please. Highlight here, round 7, pick 11. We have ourselves what's got to be a generational punter. Elite kick power. B, I mean, maybe not. Sometimes you get the A, elite and A. But this guy looks pretty damn good. There you go. There's the 99. Beautiful. All right, so take a look at our draft recap here. Geo Hawkins at pick 18. 75. It's worth Miles Sanders. Worth Miles Sanders every day of the week. Hopefully it's not another star depth situation. But if it is, at least we're building depth. We're building quality to the wide receiver room. Second round, we got Nick Cherry. Well, we didn't have a second round pick. We got Nick Cherry, middle linebacker here, out of San Diego State, normal dev. And it was at this point that outside of the punter, just set my draft board. 65 normal, 66 normal. But this is where things got real good. The I'm not going to say necessarily it's all on the computer. Tab them open, all right. I hit Y to heart these players. But we got a 6'3" corner that had A in his man. That was it. He rolled with a depth trait. 6'3", 200 pounds. Kawhi Winthrop. Just a depth guy, which is fine. And we also got in the 5th round. I don't know. I didn't tab this guy whatsoever. We got a quarterback. Backup quarterback. Chris Boren. 6'4", 244 out of Toledo. Does have a cannon. Get some nice bumps ups with our +4 because of our OC. Because we went with whatever. But had to highlight the fact that it is very difficult to find quarterbacks that have dev trait outside of really the first 2 rounds. The fact that the CPU hooked us up in the 5th, and it wasn't even a guy that I targeted. We'll count that as being blessed, if you will. But I really like that corner in the 6th round. We got a generational punter in the 7th here in Michael Manley, 76 hidden dev, and an outstanding wide receiver in the 1st round. Let's gather our thoughts here as we start year 3. Bryce Young, I mean, awesome that we have an OC that can give a nice +5 boost, but I mean, he's developing really nice, and hopefully takes a step up. 30 touchdowns last year. Let's not dip below that mark. That's kind of the threshold here in Madden 24 of like a decent to good QB season. We're committing with Chuba Hubbard, wide receiver, 2 top picks. Riddick in the 2nd round, which was our highest pick last year. Go and get another 1st-round wide receiver. Unfortunately, kind of phasing out Adam Thielen a little bit, because we need to continue the development of Mingo. But I think we're going to go Mingo in the slot, Riddick and Hawkins on the outside. Whoa! Offensive line coming together. Wyatt Teller, big fish that we landed in free agency. Burrs entering his 2nd year. Right-hand side, getting out there in age a little bit. Hopefully they continue to hold on. Really still chasing a tight end. I don't know if that's the missing piece in this offense. We did get Will Disley late, who's just kind of a Band-Aid for the time being. Would really like to find, an upgrade this upcoming offseason, be in the draft or free agency. Or hell, if things work out, we find like a big-time wide receiver in, I don't want to say Tyreek Hill to keep bringing that up, but just say Tyreek Hill. We got a 6'9" guy that could probably move to tight end, Defensively, liking the way this unit, they played really well last year. We got Uche Harvin, Derek Brown, who got robbed of a superstar dev last year, and the X-Factor Brian Burns. Luvu Thompson and Cherry, our 3rd-round pick there at linebacker. That's pretty solid across the board. Von Bell, Jeremy Chin making the move to safety. We signed Kohu as that slot. We did get Winthrop here, who definitely has some upside with that dev trait as well. So I feel really good about the defense. Optimistic, cautiously about the offense. I want to see Bryce Young, though, take his game up another level. I want to see some 1,000-yard receivers going here. Come on. At the midway point of year 3, pretty damn good. Actually, this is a matchup here. Well, we'll sim this one. 5-2 Carolina, 4-2 Atlanta. Winner goes top. We do have a breakout wide receiver. I'd love to see that to be Hawkins, our rookie. But I also hope it's not, because they'll probably tell what his dev trait is. And if it says 150, that's going to be a bummer. Oh, it's a 6'9", Antonio Reddick. 150 yards. Can we air it out here a little bit? Against the Atlanta Falcons. We did just put up 33 on the Patriots. Offensively, 9th. Holy shit. Okay. Defensively, mixed bag. Atlanta, the #1 defense in the NFL. Did not see that come. Actually, let's set our scouting focus here as well. What do we need? Corner. You know what? We're going to go defensive end here. I think finding maybe someone with a lot of upside. I'm ready to be aggressive in terms of like, well, we traded, we finessed a little bit with only Miles Sanders go up 2 spots. But I am ready and willing to trade multiple picks now to go get like a ridiculous player to play on the other side of Brian Burns. So let's handle that business. We beat the Falcons 24-21 to move atop the NFC South. Did we hit the breakout for the 6-9? Man, damn it. On a high note, I'm in a good mood, given mood here. Now let's take a look at some contracts. 104, we got a lot of money. We got a lot of money, got a lot of players. Gave us time. First up, $56 million for J.C. Horn, the Horn Dog. He's not going anywhere. We got Von Bell at 30 years old. A little risky because he's probably going to be the best rated player, but also he's going to have some regression. Same with Turnstile Moton. 2 players that are solid that I'd like to be optimistic we can get upgrades on. Also, I mean, Moton, it's highly likely. We'll see if Moton takes this deal, which he does. All right, we'll let Von Bell walk. Now, at the end of year 3, good spot to be, 11-6. The Falcons are being a little annoying, to be honest with you, the back-to-back divisional titles. But 11-6, not bad. 14th ranked offense. Ugh, what happened to the defense? Okay. A little worried. I'm a little worried about what I'm about to see. But let's take a sneak peek here. Don't have under 30. Don't have any. He has 28. It's bullshit. I've seen Bryce Young in the sim with the same offense. 40 touchdowns. What's going on here? Chuba Hubbard is actually playing well, surprisingly well. 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns. Antonio Riddick, the 6'9 freak out of Iowa, goes over 1,000 yards, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. Thielen there. Mingo there. Why? You were my wide receiver too. Geo Hawkins was my wide receiver too, and he played 153 snaps? I literally, what? There's no way. The depth chart auto reset here. You literally saw me. I was like, oh, we're going to, unfortunately, Thielen needs to take a step back. I made him wide receiver 4. Makes sense. I was like, why isn't this guy having big games? It makes sense now. Great. Okay. Oh, that's frustrating. Defensively, Donnie Jackson, Shaq Thompson going over 100 tackles. The sacks fell off a cliff for no reason. Brian Burns was double digits. Derek Brown double digits. Now they got half of that. Cool. And the leading interception guy is... What happened to my depth chart? Jeremy Chin. Okay, yeah, he did play at safety, just no production. Oh, my God. What a stupid year. Just one and done, please. We deserve to not go any further in the goddamn playoffs. Absolutely brutal. We're going to have no award winners. We already started like halfway through year 1, right? And now we just pissed. I don't want to say pissed away. We're 11-6, but my God, dude, put a bullet in us Niners so we can go back. Hey, we win, 23-17. We get the first victory of the Bryce Young playoff era. Shaq Thompson crushing it. He gets Defensive Player of the Week like 4 or 5 times a year. Yet to have a dev trade scenario. He's getting the Kyler Murray treatment from our main channel franchise. But let's take a look here at our first playoff victory, 23-17. Was it Bryce Young? Was it Chuba Hubbard? Was it maybe the fact that I got Hawkins now? Bryce Young, clean game, nothing crazy, kind of in line with the sim stats this year. Had 2 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown. Chuba Hubbard, Riddick, 100. They just didn't have a matchup for a 6'9 freak of nature, which I love to see. So with that, proud ourselves to figure out who the best team is in the South as we get to take on the Atlanta Falcons. Oh my God, 4th offense, 1st defense. Shock the world, man. We all know how this works when we were that team in the sim, and unmatched. 21-10. We got 1 victory. That is progress going into year 4. We got our first playoff win as a new era franchise. We're going to build on that as an 87 overall team with the right goddamn depth chart. At the end of the year, Falcons win the Super Bowl, so it adds that much more pressure on us to win something here as the Panthers, because that just never happens. We have a lot of money. Who retired? I'm going to assume Adam Thielen retired. Tariq Cohen, our running back. Show it to him, man. I thought he started on our practice while I kept him, but we have a lot of money. $100 million going into the offseason. I'm a little frustrated with the year. I'm already expecting this to be Bryce Young's star dev, because that was not a great year. I'm not going to say he played poorly enough to cost himself his dev trait. Not playing! Superstar wide receiver that we traded for. Didn't play this year. CPU drafts us a goddamn X Factor, goes off my favorites board, and just said, hey, here's an X Factor quarterback. Trade bait right there. Borlet. Crisp. A 5th round X Factor quarterback. Okay. I don't know what his trade value is. Should be through the roof. I'll just put him up on the trade block now, and we'll see what offers come in. If not, that's worth the first round pick. I should be able. I don't know if I'll get one. Why? I think the 70 rating will probably scare some people off, but I should get something good there. I would love another first round pick. Okay. Okay. Dev traits. Rest of the dev traits snowing up and down. Very lucky, I think, for Bryce Young not to go down. But what I was saying is I don't think Bryce Young played bad enough to lose a dev trait. But I think if you're making the argument, did he play good enough to keep his superstar? I think that's obviously a very different question. On the defense side of the ball, we lost the X Factor on Brian Burns. Very disappointing season. Of course, Von Bell, who we didn't re-sign, goes up superstar because, of course, he fucking does. Shaq Thompson lost dev trait. One of them years. But we got an X Factor, free X Factor quarterback who we are going to dangle in front of these desperate QB teams here this offseason to make a big move, make a big splash. This team is going to be a Super Bowl contender next year. I feel it. We're going to pick up the 5th-year option on Bryce Young, and honestly, with Von Bell going up to superstar, if he'll take a 2-year deal, we'll round this up a little bit. Sure, why not? Hell yeah. All right, so just out of curiosity, like, am I getting legit offers here, or are they distracted with the fact that he's at 70, they don't care about his dev trade, and it's looking like it's a little bit of that. Okay. So going to free agency, not really exactly the way I wanted to fall. We're going to try to get George Pickens. If we land George Pickens, we're going to move the 6'9" guy to tight end. We should probably put a little, and of course, all right, we got Matt Abuke at D end. Not necessarily a scheme fit. He has 10 sacks this year, though, so I feel like, you know, throw a competitive offer in. Maybe he wants to come play on our D-line. All right, I guess no one wants to buy into the project. And also, no one wants to pay for an X-Factor quarterback. Cool. Great. This is going as expected for sure, 100%. Not happy about it. All right, so for the draft, I did use my focus scouting on some tight ends because that is a big position in need. And looks to be some pretty good ones. Riley Shaw, 3 A's. Might slip into the 2nd round. Could be a guy we need to trade up for. Elite speed, acceleration, and strength. I definitely want to see the last mock draft because if he's not going in the 1st round, I'm going to do whatever it takes to trade up to get the 1st pick of the 2nd round. So Riley Shaw, and we did our scouting on the defensive ends. You know, not great on the left end, but on the right hand side, there's 2 top 5 picks, and we got Braxton McDougal, who look like the best of the bunch. A legit top 5 talent. Finesse speed rusher. A finesse move, B tackle, physical, elite acceleration, great speed, almost runs a 4.5. First in the 3-cone, first in the 20-yard shuttle, A pursuit, B play rec, B away. Like, he's going to be high 70s with a dev trait for sure. So, where's Shaw going? Where's McDougal going? Because I do want to trade that X Factor quarterback. But if McDougal's like going first, something like that, that's just completely ridiculous. And he is going, wow, 7th. And what about the tight end? Me being there. Please say he's going in the 2nd round. Clemens. Oh, shit. He's going 27th. How can I get both of these? Well, fuck. If I could keep my pick and get Shaw, and then trade X Factor quarterback, all these things. Kenny Pickett sucks. Future picks. This could work. As long as I can keep my 1st round this year, this could work. All right, so I had to sell literally I really didn't want to add the 2028, but I mean, we're not even going to be rebuilding there. So it's just the idea that this is what it took to get that pick if this guy's not a baller. But For whatever reason, I'm not getting any appropriate value for having an X Factor quarterback, but we're able to ship him, as well as our second round pick this year, our first and second next year, which is year 5, our first and second 2 years from now, which is year 6, so it doesn't really matter. I always think that 2028 picks give realistic value to what Bourne should be. And I'm not trying to trade up to get a top 5 pick. It's pick 7 in the draft. But we're able to make that happen. We're able to keep our original first round pick, so we should be able to get that tight end that looks really good. So I think this is going to work out well. So let's see. At pick 7, we're going to get McDougal, who scouted and tested as a top 5 player in this year's draft class. We did the scouting. We put in the work. Just don't be normal. Don't be like a guy that's like 78 normal or something stupid like that. Hey, looks good. We get the dev trait, 90 acceleration, 86 strength, looks legit. Let's just keep it here alive, man. Let's go grab that tight end now. I hope that tight end, same case. Really, really good on paper. But there's no other way around it. If he ends up popping as a normal dev, it is going to be a wet fart. But leapfrogging the Chiefs for him. Chiefs looking for their Kelsey successor. And if Andy Reid circled this guy on his board, probably pretty good. Riley Shaw out of LSU. Let's go. What a draft. All right, draft recap time. Feeling pretty good. And we still have an insane amount of money to spend on the open market, as discussed. But McDougal, trading an X Factor quarterback. I mean, the rest of the draft, brutal. Sometimes when you follow the draft board, it looks good. Sometimes it looks like butt cheeks. But the 2 picks that we need to hit look like absolute studs. McDougal, 78 hit dev, 75 for Raleigh Shaw. Both these guys are going to be starters. Hopefully, both these guys, if they're not already a ridiculous dev trait, can get offensive and defensive rookie there in a free dev ahead of year 5, which is likely looking like a Super Bowl or bust. At year 4, make sure the depth chart is in freaking order now. We have our superstar wide receiver going to be making plays. Okay? We get a brand new tight end. Hopefully, he's an absolute baller. Everything else looks pretty good on the offensive side of the ball, even though we are starting to see like a little bit of regression, a little bit slowing down on Turnstile Moten there, who hasn't been as much of a turnstile on the defensive side. Shaq Thompson still playing at a high level. You kind of almost can disregard the 76 normal. He still gets 100 tackles, player of the week a bunch of times, which is fine. Sucks that Brian Burns lost his X Factor. Hopefully he can regain that now with a monster on the other side in McDougal. Rest of the secondary looks pretty legit. Making sure everything else is kind of lined up here. Definitely need to make McDougal the other pass rusher. But for the most part, feeling all right. Feeling all right about the state of the defense right now. I think we might have a shot here year 4 to finally win the division. Midway point, year 4, undefeated. 7-0, easier schedule. Atlanta's still lurking. They are the defending Super Bowl champions. But 7-0 feels pretty good. And honestly, at this point, let's just sim till we lose. Because we might be able to experience I don't think we've hit 17-0. I know we've got 16-1, maybe once or twice. We beat the Rams. We have the 4-4 Bucks. Divisional games, always awkward. Can always be tough. Can always slip up. There's a win. We're taking on the defending 6-2 Super Bowl champion Falcons. Holy shit, we're going into the bye undefeated. I don't care about the pacing. I'm going to use it. It's fine. Come on. Green Bay, 6-4. Who is going to be the one that can beat us? Detroit. We met them in the playoffs first year. Holy, we are crushing right now. What is going on? Bryce Young, player of the week. 5 touchdowns against the Detroit Lions. Please, for the love of God, put it all together. I have not changed a goddamn thing, but a chance for a breakout here against the defending Super Bowl champions. Bryce Young making a jump, potentially, from superstar to an X Factor. He puts up another player of the week performance with 5 tuds. We're going to be having a red boy there under center. Like the one we just traded away to get a monster at defensive end. Let's go. What do we got here? Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Get the win first and foremost. Dev trait would be icing on the cake. We win. Probably, there's no way. I'm not even going to click that because it's going to be negative. We only got 14 points. We have the Bengals. We are 13-0. Cincinnati. Please. Please. Please, for the love of God. 48-7. Keep going. Don't mess this up. Oh! Come on. Yes! 17-0. Look at the stretch, man. 23. You thought we were going to slip up eventually. There was a shot, but 31, 38. We got, a couple ugly wins, especially early in the season, a couple ugly wins. But for the most part, that is our first 17-0. Awesome. Let's go. And how did that happen? Well, we get the number 2 offense, number 1 defense. We got some upgrade. Holy shit. We got McDougal. X Factor. Traded up for it. That's probably what's helping. We added an X. What's the tight end? An X Factor too? Braxton McDougal. Traded our X Factor backup quarterback. I think the Steelers are probably happy now that they have an X Factor, not noodle arm Kenny Pickett. Holy shit. 17-0. What's the tight end? Even if the tight end's a star, still better than what we had. And it's just, that's fine. That's fine. It's fine. Hopefully he played Rookie of the Year. Played himself in that. Let's take a look at the stats. 17-0. This is 100% our first. I think maybe, I'd say no more than 3 times we've got 16-1. But out of nowhere, this team has been solid, good, the last couple years. Well, we literally just watched what happened there. I'm shocked. Absolutely shocked that this is the team, though. We've had teams that are 96, 97 overall. Like, that team going 17 makes sense. It's a super team. This team is just really good. Almost 4,000 yards, 38 touchdowns, 4 picks for Bryce Young. Chuba Hubbard, really solid RB1 numbers there. Mingo goes over 1,000. Hawkins goes over 1,000. The 6'9 guy, kind of polarizing a little bit. Decent year from Riley Shaw. Defensively, Shaq Thompson. Again, told you, you can't look at the rating. He just performs. He's a producer. 10.5 sacks from a nose tackle. 9.5 from Burns. 8 for Brown. 6.5. A little bit on the low end there, but look at the Horde Dog. J.C. Horde. Give him a depth trade. He's been stuck on star this whole rebuild. 7 interceptions should be good enough. I think you go 17-0, you should win MVP. Of course, they're going to give it to Dak somehow, but Bryce Young, outstanding. Clearly, we got Coach of the Year, right? Fix us. Let's go. Individual awards. Horn Dog, runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year. That sucks. Damn it. That would have been the only way to complete the cycle there. Bryce Young, runner-up for Quarterback of the Year. Of course, give that to Dak. Who cares? Now the pressure. We got to at least make the championship game. You can't go 17-0, be one and done. That almost makes it done. That almost makes it not count. Oops. Of course, I skipped literally the one award that we definitely won, which was DB of the Year. Going to Horn Dog. Shout out to Horn Dog. Playing as we know we can play from last year's main channel franchise. 17-0. And we get to sit back and await our opponent in the divisional round. And if we are one and done, this game's stupid. Everything about this is stupid. 17-0. Fine. There we go. 31-10. Playing like a 17-0 squad. Set up a matchup against the Niners with Bryce Young, Derek Brown. Both sides of the football. We controlled the shit out of this game. And we now go into the championship game. 18-0. Trying to get it. The 19-0. The Niners. It's not Dallas. Honestly, as long as you roll anything that's not Dallas, you should feel decent, but the Niners are top 5 offense, defense, not brutal. No, they got big-time players, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, etc., and it is a close win. I was very much waiting for that to blow up in our face, because, honestly, 17-0, get the Super Bowl. Get the Super Bowl done. We got the 13-4 Jags in the Super Bowl. They have the 13th offense, 14th defense. We're going to hop in, play the moments, and as usual, we get 3 opportunities that we can hop in, try to help the team out, but honestly, at 17-0, this team should be able to see this one out. And get the perfect season, man. Let's get it. It is in Florida, so this is going to enemy territory. Opening drive. No points. Brutal. Let's go. March our way downfield here. How do we get 0? Okay, we cut it to 7. We'll come in now. 3rd down. 3rd and 8. We got ourselves our where's the 6'9 guy here? Riddick, 6'9. We know how this works with Deion Clement. High ball. Go up and get it. Thank you very much. Tie ball game. 6'9. That's how you utilize him. I don't know why the sim doesn't want to utilize him like that. He should have 20 touchdowns every year in the red zone. All right, now time 2. Now, I really wish my defense would get a stop when we score. But we're coming in. X Factor enabled. We got Hawkins, the superstar here. We're going to send him on a slant, looking like DJ Moore out there, number 2. Got what we wanted, inside release. Tyson Campbell, just, you can't, jam him up a little bit. Touchdown, Panthers. 17-17. Defense just can't do anything. We come in on a 3rd into this, the last opportunity we can come in. I'm terrified that the fact that they're just getting instant touchdowns, not ideal. But look, we got no. Where's that safety going? He's staying mid. No! We got to go for it. 4th and 2. We had it too. Not enough juice on the 6'9" guy. This is go time. 4th and 2. Hawkins, Mingo, Riddick. We got all our guys out there. We go to Mingo. We get a block on slant cheese to tie it up at 24. They're going to score instantly. That's what's got to happen. So we're going to need to rely on our offense, our sim offense, to help us out. Cashed in every time we could go in. Oh my God, we get a stop and we get excellent field position. 3rd and 6. How are you getting no points? That has been twice that we've been in the red zone and we've got 0. It goes to overtime. Fucking two overtime loss, man. 17. Fuck! The reality is, I got 3 touchdowns. My team was not, like, this game would have been incredibly one-sided if I didn't come in on those 3 drives. Fucking unreal. Unfucking real, man. What are the odds? We were just hypothetically throwing out Tyreek Hill. Final free agent. He's here. We don't need wide receivers, unfortunately. Rasheed Rice would be cool. That's an interesting thing that I haven't seen before. But we're going to try 2 big needs. Corner to get that 3rd corner spot shored up. And Shaq Thompson retired, so we need a new middle linebacker. Both these guys would fill the bill there. So we got Marlon Humphrey, who can play outside, can play slot, which is good. And we got Jack Campbell, a lot of upside, ready to go, ready to contribute day 1, wearing the green dot on his helmet for this defense. A soon-to-be Super Bowl winning defense. Go to our final draft. You know, didn't really have any picks. Well, I still would have made that deal 10 times out of 10. We get ourselves X-Factor pass rusher. We got Teddy Sinclair, 72 normal dev. And guess why we drafted him? Just gigantic nose tackle. And we did get a nice value pick in the 5th round, 74 normal dev wide receiver out of Tennessee, adding some nice depth. So after an undefeated season, that went 19-1. Trying to get the 20. No, don't need it. Don't need no more. We got the 17-0. I'll go 10-7 if we can go on and win the Super Bowl. This is a squad that we have retooled for the Carolina Panthers, for David Tepper giving me $9 trillion to fix it. Well, the offensive line, very good. No real weak link. Average overall, probably, 83, 84, which is really good. Got ourselves a tight end. We've gone out, got a 6'9 freak of nature wide receiver. Drafted a superstar dev wide receiver. Developed Bryce Young into an X factor. This offense is ready to go. Defense took the right amount of risks. Developed the right amount of people. Still got Derek Brown. Still got Brian Burns. Still got Luvu. Still got Jeremy Chin. Got the Horn Dog coming off a 7 interception season, where he's now up to a superstar. They've kept Von Bell. Boldly traded multiple drafts to go get an X-Factor pass rusher, which you did know was an X-Factor. Just looked really good. There's nothing else to be said. 17-0. We need to, this has to, that'll be an utter failure. It won't matter one damn bit if we can't end up winning a Super Bowl and getting that check mark next to this rebuild for the Panthers. Finish up year 5, not 17-0, but at least still an impressive 13-4 first round by #1 seed in the NFC. There's not gigantic regression, which that's all you can ask for, because Madden sometimes can be completely random. Top 10 offense, top 5 defense. Exactly where we need to be. Taking a look at Bryce Young, hell of a year. He's peaking. 36 touchdowns, 4 picks is huge. Chuba Hubbard's done a great job as our RB1. Not really ever having that dominant wide receiver 1, which I thought we would, between Riddick and or Geo Hawkins, given their abilities. But that's a good, strong core across the board there for our top 4 receiving targets. Defensively, Jack Campbell, a little bit of a mercenary coming in just for year 5. Led the team in tackles. We got 10 sacks, Derek Brown, 10 for McDougal. 8 now. So Burns did kind of fall off. And I definitely think last 2 years, things weren't going as well. Definitely would have tried to probably sell Brian Burns and maybe got a better splash move, especially because we did draft an X-Factor pass rusher. Definitely sucks seeing a drop-off for J.C. Horn. The Horn Dogs, 7 picks last year, down to 2 this year. But obviously interceptions are kind of fluky and can change. Just outside the top 5 for the MVP is Bryce Young. Bryce Young does win quarterback of the year. Already an X-Factor, so not like there's any dev trait to be gained and or lost there. And not nearly as many individual successes. But this team has 17-0 pedigree. We got first round bye, can kick our feet up and await our opponent here in the divisional round. And it is the 9-8 Seattle Seahawks. Winnable game, I think, just looking at their record. But 87 overall is not bad. So maybe the context, what we're dealing with here. 14th offense against the 13th offense. 9th defense against 5th. I mean, honestly, for how good our team is, those ranks aren't the greatest. but somewhat optimistic we'll go one and done. Get a nice victory, 28-21. Get back to the NFC Championship game. This time it's the Atlanta Falcons, who have been a thorn in our side this whole rebuild. But look at that, man. Offense, pretty solid. Defense, not very good. They get after the quarterback. Come on. Come on. They can't have this go down as now. We went 17-0. Fucking Falcons. We didn't even have to play Dallas. Like, no point during this playoff run. We got the perfect roll every year, and we still fucking choked. Both quarterbacks played well. Bijan went off. It's kind of both defenses. I think the fact that their defense sucks and our defense was good and our defense didn't get a single sack or turnover or anything like that. Yep. Well, if 17-0 is what you're looking for, that's exactly what I was able to give you in today's rebuild. Taking a look at the stats of what these guys accomplished throughout this 5-year period. 155 touchdowns, 41 picks for Bryce Young. You know, took a little while to heat up, but year 4 and 5, you know, peaked when we needed him and developed up to an X factor where he's, what, 99? I think 99 with the boosts. No, he's just 99 straight up, so that worked out well. Chuba Hubbard, 6,600 yards, 48 touchdowns. I guess we never had a prolific back. We started at the very beginning of this video saying, like, there's been a huge void since Christian McCaffrey left, and we never really sought out replacing that CMC weapon in the offense. Maybe? That's what, you know, looking at these stats, trying to break down where, you know what, I think the biggest thing was, like, we never had S-tier passing attack, right? We had Mingo, Riddick, and Hawkins. That should be as good as any. Those guys should be light on the league. We never had multiple guys going over 1,000 yards. And, like, when you have that the case and you don't have, like, a situation like, say, we're doing the Browns or the Raiders or anything like that where you have, or the Giants, where the running back is, you know, you might not have any 1,000-yard receivers, but the running back's getting 1,500 yards and close to 20 touchdowns, which is a common scenario in Sim. That kind of works. But we weren't really getting that kind. We were getting B-plus production at a Chuba Hubbard, not S-tier. And the receivers were all good, not great. If I had to, and I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's we stuck along with the Panthers offense for too long. Luvu's been here the longest, 600 tackles. 9 was 1,000 for Von Bell, which is pretty cool, splitting his time between here and Cincinnati. 82 sacks on 106 TFLs for Brian Burns, 45 sacks, 83 TFLs for Derek Brown. 21 picks for Marlon Humphrey, 19 for the Horn Dog. Love seeing that, but damn it. And I feel like the first time we rebuilt the Carolina Panthers, we ended up winning. We won a Super Bowl in that one. But this team was definitely better. Put up a 17-0, nothing. Left hole in the bag. Well, when was the last time we do something with Carolina? I do like the idea of just, I don't know how I'm going to do it, if it's a rebuild or whatever, but I do like the idea just because it's kind of polarizing right now of switching CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, seeing if things are a little bit different or not. That'll probably be a video that drops a little bit later on in the week. But that will do it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, your first time stopping by, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. Until next time, it's your boy C4. Say peace, I love you. Have a good one.